everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and today I'm going to talk you through my November TBR. Now, for this, I said I wasn't going to participate in Nonfiction November, and then I looked at my shelves and realized how many nonfiction books I haven't finished yet. So I'm kind of participating in Nonfiction November. The first book that I'm hoping to finish is The Genius of Shakespeare by Jonathan Bate, which I started back in September. I was really loving it, but I had to move through it very, very slowly because it is so dense. And then I had to put it to the side in order to start Victober. This book is about Shakespeare and what makes him a genius, not in terms of the fact that he was ultra smart, as we tend to think these days. But genius in Shakespeare's day referred to something original and unique. So it looks at what makes Shakespeare unique, as well as looking at various criticisms of Shakespeare, such as the fact that his plots weren't completely original, the authorship controversies, and picking apart those arguments and proving them wrong in the ultimate snarky way. I love the way Jonathan Bate writes. You can tell how passionate he is about Shakespeare, and I would highly recommend that you pick up any of his work for that very reason. The next book that I hope to finish is The Romanovs by Simon Sebag Montefiore, which is a history of the Romanovs, who were the ruling family of Russia from 1613 until 1918. This is a monster of a book that I started 2 or 3 years ago and then never came back to. So I definitely have to finish it, and I'm hoping to do so this month. It is a monster, but it's very well written, so you can move through it fairly quickly. I'm up to Catherine the Great, so I'm in the mid-1700s. I'm just there, but I've still got a long way to go. I have to make it through all of the monarchs of the 1800s as well as the Russian Revolution. But I will be so proud of myself when I finally finish this book. The next book that I want to read for Nonfiction November is Demon Voices by Philip Pullman, which was on my September TBR and I never got to it, so I'm looking forward to reading this now, especially in conjunction with season 2 of his Dark Materials premiering on HBO sometime this month. This volume is a collection of essays and transcripts of speeches that Pullman has given in various places on stories and on storytelling, either how to craft a story or why storytelling is important, both of which I heartily enjoy and endorse. So I'm very much looking forward to reading a book from his perspective on such things. In the middle of November, however, there will be another readathon, which is the Gilmore Girls Readathon Season 2, since it is the second time that it is running. It is hosted by 3 channels, one of whom is Darling Desi, so I will link her announcement video down below. And there are 8 or 9 prompts to this readathon, and I have found 4 books that link to most of those prompts. The first is to read a book set in a small town. And for this, I have picked up The Jane Austen Society by Natalie Jenner. This is a book that I bought myself in August after hearing Natalie Jenner speak, and I'm very intrigued by it now. It is the story of a group of people who get together, I believe post-World War II, to try and save Chawton House and turn it into the museum that it now is. So I believe it all takes place in the small village of Chawton, which fits this prompt perfectly. Next, I have picked up Last Tang Standing by Lauren Ho, which I also ordered in August, I believe. This fits the prompt to read a book by an Asian author or with Asian representation, and to read a book with a complicated love interest. This is the story of Andrea Lang, who is living her best life. She has a good career, a good home, everything is working well for her, but she's not married the way her family would like her to be. So she is then caught between the man that her parents would like to see her marry and her office rival. It has very much Crazy Rich Asian vibes. We're wandering through Singapore and China and Malaysia, and it sounds just like a lot of fun. The next is How to Find Love in a Bookshop by Veronica Henry, which fits the prompt to read a book set in the fall or winter, as I believe this follows an entire year in a bookshop. And it follows a young woman whose father has just passed, and she is trying to keep their family bookstore afloat in the wake of his death. And it's about her. I would assume a romance comes into it somehow. The customers who become like family to her to help her heal. It sounds so sweet and so lovely. A coworker threw this into my hands and said, "You need to read this." So I can't wait to see if she's right. And the last book for the Gilmore Girls readathon is Pages & Co. Tilly and the Map of Stories by Anna James. This is the third in the Pages & Co. trilogy about Tilly Pages, who is a young girl living with her grandparents in London, and they own the bookshop Pages & Co. And Tilly soon discovers that she is a book wanderer, and her whole family is, which means they can literally walk in and out of a variety of books. And there are rules to book wandering and secret libraries everywhere. They are lovely, sweet, fun adventures, perfect for any book nerd of any age. This fits the prompt to read the next book in a series that you haven't read yet, and to read a book with a mother-daughter relationship. And finally, outside of Nonfiction November and outside of the Gilmore Girls readathon, I need to read Piranesi by Susanna Clarke this month, as my lovely friend Jonathan, who has appeared on this channel before, has lent me his copy, and I know how dear it is to him, so I desperately need to get it back to him soon. We both loved Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, also by Susanna Clarke, so I'm very excited to see where Piranesi goes. I know almost nothing about the plot, and the blurb is not entirely illuminating, but I will read it to you as I think it gives you the best idea of what it's going to be about. Piranesi's house is no ordinary building. Its rooms are infinite, its corridors endless. Its walls are lined with thousands upon thousands of statues, each one different from all the others. Within the labyrinth of halls, an ocean is imprisoned. Waves thunder up staircases. Rooms are flooded in an instant. But Piranesi is not afraid. He understands the tides as he understands the pattern of the labyrinth itself. He lives to explore the house. There is one other person in the house, a man called the Other, who visits Piranesi twice a week and asks for help with research into a great and secret knowledge. But as Piranesi explores, evidence emerges of another person, and the terrible truth begins to unravel, revealing a world beyond the one Piranesi has always known. So that sounds very, very interesting. It's also compared to Neil Gaiman's The Ocean at the End of the Lane, so I am very excited to get to this at some point. So there you have it. Those are the books that I am hoping to read in November. Let me know down below if you loved any of these, if you are excited for me to read them, if you are excited to read any of these for yourself, or if you are excited about your own TBR, which may be completely different from mine. Let me know in the comments down below, and until next time, be safe, be well, and happy reading. Bye everyone.